Hello, everybody, and good morning for those of you in Eastern Time, and good afternoon to those of you in Europe. We've got our first Game 3 of the Triforce Blitz tournament today, and it's going to be an exciting race between What the Hell's Happened and huffpuff1337, as I like to call him. Looks like we're still in the process of getting things set up for the race, but had the opportunity to watch at least a little bit of Game 2 between these two runners, with Huffpuff taking the win, and it was a pretty exciting race. Huffpuff was very excited to get the victory and found his final piece in the toilet, which is a great meme. Love to see it. But we'll pause for a moment and let the runners finish getting set up, and then we'll be right into the race. Welcome, Ginger, to the stream. Still waiting to get things set up, though.
Hello, yes. A little bit in the background. Alright. So it looks like What the Hell's is just putting in their username. Pardon me. Hi, how's it going?
It's going alright. I'm up a little early compared to normal, but it's for a good cause, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this going into Game 3. It's pretty cool. I just need to get shut up.
Looks like we're going to be starting with ZL and Fire Medallion, so
ZL starts pretty nice. Lots of potential with that one. Right, I'm set up. I'm gonna guess the trackers are ready.
I see some Triforce counts moving on the restreams, so I'm assuming it's pretty good. But a little more on those songs. One of the nice things about getting ZL as your opening song is when you go to CAC, you will be getting 2 songs instead of 1, and so that's double the chances of picking up some kind of song chain early on, whether that be like Minuet or Bolero or Requiem. And you might end up with some nice routing, so something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I enjoy a good song chain myself, so interesting to see what will come up. Just waiting for What the Hell's. Just needs another little bit, and then as soon as he readies up, we can get the show on the road. It's alright, because it gives our trackers time to sort of get logged in. Okay, looks like the trackers are all logged in as well, so that's good. So yeah, we're almost ready to get things underway. Alright, and alright, started the countdown, so we should be getting going very shortly. So yeah, this is interesting, but it's got this far to 1-all. You would think, just on sort of experience alone, that on paper this should have been a nice cruising 2-0 victory. But the good thing about this tournament and these settings is that it's because it's a shorter timescale, it kind of leads to a little bit more opportunities for everybody. And we get the medallions early, which is DC, Forest, Deku, Water, and that's 12, 10, and 12 for the paths.
Well, settle in. Oh, well, Ice Cavern path, so who knows, actually.
Oh, yeah, it could just all be an ice cavern by the time we get there, but we'll find out.
At least they know to rush ice.
Yeah, and that ZL will definitely help. So it looks like Huffpuff is making their notes.
But I do agree. I was a little bit surprised to see Huffpuff take the second race, but looking back at the VOD, like it wasn't actually that close. I think What the Hell's only had 1 Triforce piece when it was over, and that's one of the things about these settings. So often in Rando, it's predominantly about execution and luck, and that's pretty much all that it takes. But in Triforce Blitz, we add the understanding of the logic to the required skill set, and it becomes so much more important than it is in other settings. At the kind of the better your logic, the less you'll have to rely on luck to win, essentially. And so some of the more experienced players are having, I think, challenges adapting to that because you don't necessarily flex those logic muscles so much in the other settings. So,
or if you do, you're sort of trained into a certain way of logic and more guessing with your sort of paths and everything. Whereas this, in theory, because we've got the step counts and everything, it should, if you know your logic, you should be able to get a comparative advantage, which I quite enjoy. That's Sunsong there, and I think we also had Lon Lon was on path to something, which we're going to see from Huffpuff in a minute. Path of Power.
So 12, 10, and 12, that's some reasonably beefy counts. It's probably not going to be a time limit, but you never know. I've had seeds in this range go to time limit before. Not all 12s and 10s are created equal. You stick a few items in like Deep Forest or Deep Fire, and the time limit can become a problem very quickly.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, while sort of logic and follow the chains and is a little bit less luck based sometimes, but it can still end up being pretty luck based when you get to the last sort of 20 minutes and you haven't got any Triforce pieces, and it's sort of like, okay, I'm just going to pick a dungeon and hope. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But ideally, you wouldn't get to that point under normal circumstances.
Yeah, there's no way to take luck completely out of Randomizer. We tried, I think, as hard as we could to minimize it as part of Triforce Blitz, but even then, it's not possible, and I think that's okay.
Absolutely.
Luck is always play a factor, but it's like the balance is very different in Triforce Blitz because in Standard, like, there's just a limit to how much information you can pull from the hints, and it's very dependent on the seed. But in Triforce Blitz, there's almost always going to be more good information out there if you dedicate time to chasing down the hints. And so it's just an additional layer of strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely took me a bit of getting used to, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. And it's good. It's because it's such a different system. Like, it really is very different from what we've done before. But I think as you said, it's all about getting that balance between sort of luck, execution, and I think this does it well. And the time limit helps because there are obviously some seeds that you just, even if you're winning, like, you don't really want to play for like 3.5 hours because they're just bad seeds. And this kind of, hopefully, we should never get to 3 hours under these settings if we do something's gone pretty badly wrong.
Yeah, there's always the chance of just having like a really important item being unhinted in a really high path count seed that just leads to getting really lost. I find more often than not that even in the seeds that I run out of time on, I probably would have been done in another 15 minutes or so. But to me, that's part of the fun because if I find that third Triforce piece 1 minute after the time limit, I think to myself, what could I have executed better to shave off a minute and been able to actually get to that piece in time? So like everything adds up in the end. And what the hell's, I think, forgot that he had ZL? Is that what's going on? Or did he get it and I'm crazy?
I don't think he did. I don't think he went there.
Well, I mean, he could want to do it as child. That's definitely possible.
Because doesn't want to orphan the torches check.
It's going to work out well for him because it ended up only being Song of Time, so that's not really an important song. But if that had been like Nocturne, for example, or some other warp song that gave a chain like Bolero, especially, that could have been very different.
Just going to have a look at the first Hyrule Castle hint. Oh, Ice Cavern Path to Wisdom. Is that a repeat, or is it a different?
I think that's on a different path, so that might mean that Ice Cavern is double.
Yeah, that is, because the first one was power, so...
Yeah.
Okay, double Ice Cavern.
So there's a big thing to think about. How deep is Ruto's letter? Because if those items in Ice Cavern are kind of near the end of the chain, so to speak, near the like 8 or 9 items deep into the seed, then ice could be kind of the end, and it's even possible that the seed could be over very quickly if our runners find a bottle, because they might be able to skip almost all the required items. Or there could just be Rutos sitting in Sphere 0 and it won't really bypass anything.
But yeah, that's another good point about the steps, is that it does give you that sort of framework to sort of go, okay, so if I think it's this where I'm supposed to go, what can I skip? And it kind of gives you a little bit more of a framework to work it out. Oh, there's Iron Boots. For what the hell's?
Yeah, the whole point of Triforce Blitz is use the hints to figure out where the pieces are and go straight there, and whatever you can skip along the way, more power to you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that it is nice that both of the runners know that that ice is path, because it's probably the most common logic skip out there, other than backflipping over Mido, and so it's not really a gamble this seed. Like, both the runners know as soon as you get the bottle, like, you're probably going to want to rush straight to the Ice Cavern.
Yeah, that ZL start makes it very nice also.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about like your opponent finding hover somewhere silly out of logic and being able to skip a bunch of stuff just by getting lucky. So from a fairness perspective, I approve of this seed so far.
I mean, it's double ice path, so that makes me guaranteed to approve it immediately.
Memes be beams.
We have only found one actual item so far, though, in all these checks, which is the Iron Boots on Richard.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder if this seed isn't locked down a little bit at the start. Maybe like a bomb bag. There's our Rutos.
Well, there's Rutos. Just need that bottle and we're good to go.
So that's, I guess, settle in, everybody. Seems like this is not going to be a Kokiri Sword and Ice Cavern leading to 2 Triforce pieces. We've got plenty more items to find.
Prelude. That's definitely not path, but it's nice to have. So yeah, that bottle definitely looks like it's, well, it should be path. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't, but I wonder if we've got anything else in Lon Lon.
It's hard confirmed path. The second that Ice Cavern becomes path, you know that Ruto's letter is always going to become path. And actually, that hard confirms ZL as one of our paths as well. That was the starting song, and it wouldn't be hinted anyway, because ZL can never take up a path hint. But that's, I guess, 4 items, so to speak, accounted for. You have like an Ice Cavern for power, you have Ice Cavern for wisdom, you have Ruto's, and you have ZL. And so we know that those are going to be contributing to our numbers.
A Hyrule Castle 2 hint tells us that Kokiri Forest is Path of the Wanderer.
Yeah, probably going to be like a bomb bag or hook shot. Not the greatest hint, but good to know. If for some reason all of the path hint slots are not actually filled by path hints because there's just not enough items, we will see more Wanderers. And if there are all 10 path hints placed in the seed, there's actually only 1 copy of 1 Wanderer in the entire seed. So if that's the case, then that's the copy. So if any other Wanderer hints show up, then there could be some 3 dungeon songs ending up being required. That might have been a little bit of a logical jump, but just take a leap of faith with me for now that could be a thing.
Mm-hmm. We got a big chest here. Is this our Wanderer? A bow? Probably is. Yeah, it could be. And advantage of having Sunsong in Kokiri Forest is being shown here by just warping back to Murdo's. Saved a good 20 seconds.
Yeah, love having Sunsong for that early child routing. Just makes Lost Woods a lot cleaner. And early Wallet and Huge Rupee as well. That's some great quality of life as we see our first Courage hint.
Goron City. Okay.
It does seem like there's a pretty substantial overlap between the paths. You would imagine that with all of them being around the same depth, but...
And DC, Dodongo's Cavern, also Path to Courage. So, areas inside Death Mountain, Path to Courage, pretty courageous, it makes sense. Going inside a mountain.
It's pretty on brand. So one thing that the runners will have to be thinking about is the number of overworld locations that end up getting hinted. We've seen an overworld location on Power and now on Courage. And so what that means is that as soon as you see an overworld location on a particular path, that means that all the dungeon locations on that path are guaranteed to be hinted somewhere in the seed because the dungeon hints get priority in their selection. So if you see an overworld one, then it basically means the seed has run out of dungeon locations already. So with the 12s having overworld locations, probably the 10 will as well. And that kind of reduces the value of randomly going into dungeons because any dungeon you need to go into is hinted. And so you kind of don't want to clear dungeons unless you get a hint for them because you know that if you need to go there, it's going to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that comes back to what you were saying towards the start about how sort of eliminates some of the luck by using these sort of hint distributions and settings. And that hints are even more powerful than usual under standard settings, because it really does. Between the hints can really help you work out what steps are supposed to be what, and save you wasting time just dipping into dungeons that you don't really need to.
Yeah, there's a lot. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, totally fine. Don't worry. I was finished anyway,
yeah,
so
I'll let you finish.
No, I was already done. It's fine. You can.
All right. Well, one of the challenges of Triforce Blitz is because it's a little different, and because there's some of these hint quirks that don't exist in the other settings. The level of experience with these settings can actually make a pretty substantial impact on your time. We kind of saw this the other day with Icola versus Cine, where I think Icola had a pretty strong execution advantage, which is not saying much. I think Icola would have a pretty strong execution advantage on almost any player. But then Cine actually had an advantage with the familiarity with using the Blitz information to get to where he's going faster. And so I wonder if that's going to be a factor in this race as well, because I know What the Hells helped me out very early on with testing some of the settings, but has been doing a lot of mixed pool stuff and other settings as well. And so I just don't know how familiar he is with some of these details that can be really useful.
Yeah. Worth pointing out, we got inside Ganon's Castle as another Path to Courage hint there, and we found out that on OOT is the horse, so hopefully we won't need that, but it's possible.
Seems unlikely, just because Shadow is a stone, and so if it were OOT for logical Epona, we'd probably get beaten over the head with really obvious "you need to go to Shadow Temple" hints.
Yeah, nothing's really pointing that direction at all, is it? But
not yet. We'll see if Nocturne shows up.
Something to keep in the back of the mind.
Well, I do like this Season 3 throwback from What the Hells, doing the back walk through field. Takes me back to some terrible memories of swimming in the moat.
Kakiri Forest is path to wisdom as well as wanderer. So that means there's got to be something else there in the storms check.
Yeah, so storms is either wanderer or path, because that bow is now either wanderer or path. So we'll see where storms ends up. A lot of the warp songs are hiding away from us. Not really too much showing up. I guess Bolero will give us an extra song, but no logical forest access yet, and nothing like Requiem or Nocturne or Storms.
Yeah, we really are getting the full old school Season 3 play here, which is open grotto of Hyrule Field and then hike all the way to the valley. It's this route I used to do in my sleep back in the day, but isn't so common anymore.
Yeah, I think going very hard on overworld checks early on. I was about to say it was a good idea. Trust me, I was about to say it was a good idea.
Timing.
So, when you have path counts like these, generally any path item that is unhinted is always going to end up being an overworld check because of that same dungeon priority that I mentioned earlier. So, it can be good to try to be thorough on the overworld, knowing that it's possible that there's some item you need that you're not going to know about ahead of time. And if that's the case, then it's going to be on the overworld. I mean, there's not a ton of overworld checks, so you can kind of afford to be thorough if you skimp on the dungeon checks.
Market path to courage. Okay, now we're getting a lot of courage hints coming through.
Yeah, this routing is really paying off for What the Hells. Having that bomb bag before a market path, that's going to unlock 2 more checks, and if that path is Bombchu Bowling, then the routing is just marvelous.
Oh yeah, if it's Bombchu Bowling, then couldn't have been any better. So we did get the Iron Boots there as well, which is, again, keep back of mind, but chances are it's probably, hopefully, something else. Fire Temple is foolish, so...
Oh, that always feels good.
Yeah, for me, if I'm playing a seed and I get fire and or water foolish, I'm pretty happy. Seed's playable.
You just always get scared of the path item in Hammer Chest that is just super telegraphed and ends up just wasting 15 minutes of your 2 hours just because you have to get all the way to the top and there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly.
But yeah, What the Hells with Prelude and Sunsong probably will end up showing us all of the market checks. I don't think he did Richard the Dog yet, so we should have a pretty good idea of what this market path is before too long.
Richard, yeah, he did do Richard. That was the Iron Boots. The Iron Boots for Richard. But we haven't seen any of the other checks, apart from Child Shooting, which was nothing.
Thinky face.
Yeah, those Iron Boots are a little bit concerning with that path, but they're still Bombchu Bowling, like you say, which is 2 potential items that it could be instead.
And looks like Huffpuff also opting to go to the crate. I'm a little bit scared about this angle. I think he can make it, but he just made me nervous.
There's our bottle on Child Fishing.
Wow.
Bottle.
We lost the...
he lost the chicken.
It's actually okay, because the worst that he could miss out on is a hint, but yeah, I mean, I only got the bomb bag, so maybe it's a time save. Alright, Huffpuff, you're stuck in the river now. You might as well jump the other way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing, when I was learning this game, like, I used to find that so hard to smash the crate and not lose the chicken. It just used to frustrate me so badly until I finally learned sort of how to do it consistently.
So, pro tip here: what I do whenever I get an item on the crate is I actually go and pick up the chicken again, and then I drop it again before picking up the item. That'll basically reset the cooldown before it runs away, and it'll give you a lot more leeway.
Lost Woods foolish.
Oh, that's... Well, that would be great for me, because I always skip Ocarina minigame out of spite, because I just find that Lost Woods ends up foolish a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea of, like, if there's just one check that you just can't stand, just, like, skip it, and it's one check out of how many, right? And unless it's a path, then you can probably be okay avoiding it. It's like Sirius and never doing Dompe racing. Although that's technically 2 checks, but still.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like you can't ever go back later. That's kind of why I like to skip it, because if Lost Woods shows up path, then you can just go back there very quickly if you have Minuet, or you can just warp there. And nothing on Chew Bowling. Iron Boots, looking awful suspicious.
They are looking very suspicious, indeed.
So that bottle's going to be nice, because that allows our runners to not have to worry about turning in Rudo's letter. We can just kind of
If
jump
you want,
over
you
the
can
king.
just skip that entirely, because we've got that spare bottle. Drink the soul. Skip the king.
So Huffpuff already said Scarecrow song, so is this like a South Hyrule play with the bomb bag to clean up some of the grottos? I can't imagine anything else.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Be able to get a couple of the grottos, but What the Hells wasn't able to. It kind of makes sense, I think, from there. I mean, you can still always prelude back once you've checked these, but it gets it out right. Oh!
What the hell's just opting to reset his timer there. A free health refill.
Yep.
Just the unconventional one, but that was on purpose for sure.
Yeah, like 3/4 of a heart or whatever it was on, it doesn't really buy you a lot of time. Easier just to take the death and reset the timer.
So What the Hell's, like us, has no idea what was on top of the volcano, but the song is Storms, and What the Hell's probably wants to get a Kokiri Forest, but how's he going to get there?
Instant prelude, so I think that's exactly what he's thinking.
Still no Song of Time for What the Hell's, but I wonder what he's thinking now. Some good options could be maybe the Tektite Grotto. You have irons and you have bombs, and you're about to go onto field, so it might be worth a shot on the way to Ice Cavern.
Yeah, I think Tektite is a strong play, but instead it looks like we're off to Adult Cac in that direction.
Could be just a play to pick up that song from the Composer Grave that he forgot in Adult 1.
And there's that Fire Foolish in.
Yeah, and then a save quit for Huffpuff, so I'm not sure. I guess maybe this is a Lost Woods into Goron City, which I think was Path. Maybe doing the 2 checks there. I guess doing Maze in Child is not bad either, because you have the bomb bag. So, yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's interesting that like this seed is basically screaming, "You're going to have to go to ice," but it's still very great divergences in how they're sort of going about it, which is always interesting. I like it when there's big divergence rather than just following each other's footsteps generally. Yes, to star. Huffpuff was, I guess, feeling a little negative Monka S, and has named one of their file names 0 and 3 because that's what they think is going to happen. But the fact that they've taken What the Hell's to a deciding game in this series suggests that I think that's not so likely as you might imagine.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just like between 0 and 3, but I definitely know that Huffpuff in the second game was pretty nervous, and you can understand that. What the Hells has been around for a very long time. It is probably one of the most well-known players, and so 1-on-1 against the
it's pretty intimidating. If I was playing in 1-on-1, I'd be thinking probably that I was going to lose as well. But as we were saying, the good thing about these settings is that it doesn't all come down to just the traditional what makes you good at rando. It's straight into the path for Dodongo's Cavern, which I absolutely don't hate either.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. We haven't had any hints for Dodongo's Cavern yet. However, it is the Forest Medallion, and so getting that song could be important. And we also have Ganon's Path, and so that will open up the bridge. So, definitely a solid play. Eventually, What the Hells will make it over to Ice, I promise, but this is definitely not wrong.
Hyrule Castle, foolish. I'm sure there was a DC path, I just don't think we've...
DC was Courage. Okay, well...
Yeah. Just
I would go here even if it wasn't Path. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's just certain dungeons that in any sort of settings are almost usually worth going as soon as possible, and I always find DC is one of them, because more often than not, it's usually stacked, and if it isn't, well, it's still fairly fast, so... And you can get a lot of peaks like this.
Yeah, and looking at our medallion layout, a hook shot on Link the Gore. Wow, that is a big pickup.
Wow, that is huge. And there's an immediate prelude.
So What the Hells will not be able to be getting that for a while. I kind of wonder if that's maybe one of 2 hook shots. Because those iron boots, I don't know. And actually, so to go back to my original train of thought before I got interrupted by that great hook shot pickup. If you look at the medallion layout, Dodongo's Cavern and Forest, those are our 2 songs that are locking Burning Cack. And those are very, very fast, especially Forest if you just want the medallion. So that Burning Cack song could definitely be on the minds of our runners. Maybe there is some item in Ice and then also Forest access to be able to get that third medallion.
Oh, yeah, interesting. And both our runners are teamed by a shield today.
Yep, that's Elagatua approved.
So Gadol Episodium. What we've done, or what has been done, is Forest and Jabu, the boss shortcuts, have already been activated. So if you choose, you can literally just go straight to the basement and do those 2 checks first, and then... So you can optionally decide if you want to go through all the Forest, but you don't have to do it just to beat Forest. And there's Huffpuff getting their iron boots off of Richard.
Yeah, so decision time for Huffpuff as well. The world is his oyster now. Lots of places to go. Could be Ice, Field, DC. I imagine you'll probably end up in Bolero or in Crater first. But the routing's great for Crater now with that hook shot.
There's not really been anything in DC so far. So whatever it is must be on King Dodongo.
So with those iron boots, if he wanted to go to Ice, he could just take the Bolero path through Goron City. So I'm not sure where this is. Maybe this is a Tektite grotto? That's kind of the only thing I can imagine.
I hope so, yeah. I mean, I do want to see what's in Tektite with his Iron Boots path. Or presumably path. We still haven't seen Treasure Chest game, but that's quite a long way further in logic before we get there. Very fast, very smooth. There's that Lost Woods Foolish for Huffpuff, so they know now.
I wonder if this is going to end up being an ice play after...
it's for Hammer. Hammer path with Foolish Fire. Kind of limits what it could be.
Yeah, there could be more in Goron City, or... I mean, there's always potential for the classic GTG key logic to make an appearance, or... Oh, hello!
Oh, yep. Hover boots. Okay. So we've got...
Yeah, seems pretty plausible.
Shoe percent. And what the hell's going straight to Goron City with that hammer?
Yeah, unfortunately for What the Hells, we know that the hookshot is in Child Goron City. We're going to see if anything else is in Goron City. If you're rooting for What the Hells, you should hope that there is nothing else there. Because if there's something there that convinces What the Hells that he's found the path item in Goron City, he might be finding that hookshot for a while.
Mm. Water Temple foolish. So fire and water both foolish. Love it.
Yeah, it makes it really likely that those irons are path purely to get the hovers. I think that's very likely.
Alright, so here's the maze. Let's see what it's got for us.
We can get that forest medallion marked down for What the Hells, because he has finished Django's Cavern, and probably at a convenient moment we'll be heading back to the Temple of Time to see what that song is.
Another bomb bag.
Okay, well we know that's not path, so that's actually good. Only one more check to dodge, and What the Hells will know that he needs to go to Child.
There's that other Ocarina of Time in it. Troll the Goron has. Like you were saying, for What the Hell's gonna have to hope it isn't anything that might send him off the path of not coming back here as a child. And it's a second bow. So
okay.
that could save him there.
Well, that tells us actually a lot of information. That's actually a great pickup for What the Hells, if he's paying attention to the hints. Because we know we have that bow in Kokiri Forest, and that's definitely not bow locked, because you can do Link the Goron with the bomb bag that we found. So we know the Kokiri Forest bow is Wanderer. That's hard confirmed, and that means that the Kokiri Forest path is the Kokiri Forest Storms Grotto. And I imagine we'll probably see that pretty soon. What the Hell's going to give us a tour of the crater first, which is always a good play to get some more hints, but might loop back into Goron City and head over to Kokiri Forest to figure out what that now confirmed path item is in the forest.
Okay, well, the hammer is not for that.
Yeah, not a lot of other things that it could be, really. All of the other options probably involve Gerudo Valley and GTG silliness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with water foolish, that's a little concerning. Deku Tree foolish. Okay.
All right, any more dungeons you want to hint foolish? We've got, like, 3 or 4 now?
All the dungeons, yeah.
So I don't think we end up going to Fire Temple at all this seed. It's hinted foolish, and also the dungeon reward unlikely to be useful, as it is a stone, and the other stone dungeons. If for some reason we need Eponas, the rest of the path hints will be giving it away like a sore thumb with Jabu and Shadow also path.
Yeah, because there is a lot of steps in each of these logic chains, but we're not that many either. So if we're having to go through all of those very specific item locked places like Jabu and Shadow, imagine it would probably be a little bit higher. I would suggest, but
yeah, with Bolero, you could just go there anytime you feel like you need to do it. So there's no reason not to just put it off until you think oh, I need Eponas actually, and then you can just kind of run through all those dungeons relatively quickly. Except Shadow. Shadow wouldn't be quick.
No, there's nothing you can do about Shadow if you're in there. You're in there for a while.
Although we should suspiciously keep our eyes on those hover boots, because those hover boots, well, I mean, there's some indication that it could be Tektite Grotto, Iron Boots path for the hover boots. We'll see.
Which kind of suggests towards Shadow. So we haven't seen anything about Shadow at all yet.
Alright, well, we're about to see Kokiri Storm, so whatever's here is path. Big chest incoming.
Good hint. It's a hookshot.
Ooh, interesting. So that is the second path hookshot that we've seen. So we need both, and it's probably for GTG access.
Yeah, with the hammer and the long shot. Oh, first time Mido skip. Very nice.
But again, with this this medallion and stone layout, not shocking that there would be something in GTG locking Eponas. Not at all. So we'll see when they choose to route that in. But Ice Cavern looms large as well, and what the hells is in the vicinity to pop on over there pretty easily with the Iron Boots. Probably going to pick up this song first, just to get a better idea of the logic, but I imagine that's what he's thinking. Chat saying that we might see Phantom Ganon. I actually think that's a good idea. It gets another song. You're here anyway. Nothing wrong with it. Might
shortcut song as well, which is nice. So, without the shortcut being on, no chance. But with the shortcut straight to Phantom Ganon, I can see it, totally. Especially with path hookshot. I mean, he knows about hookshot, doesn't know about long shot. But following hookshot as path would tend to suggest to send him into forest anyway. There's Saria's.
That kind of makes it... I wonder if What the Hells devalues ice slightly. Now seeing that. Saria's being there means that if for some reason we need anything in Forest Temple, that it's going to be a path minuet. And now seeing Serenade on Prelude, the odds of Minuet hiding out in Ice Cavern seem pretty high. The only downside is that there's that other path item there, so there's got to be some item in addition to the song there. And yes, chat wisely pointing out that we know it's long shot path, but the runners do not yet, because we have one of each hook shot and not both. So we know it's probably GTG, but our runners probably don't know that. Not yet.
Looks like What the Hells is at least going to do some lobby checks in behind the lobby before going down and fighting PG. So you might as well. These are pretty quick. You've got a shield, so don't need to worry too much about these Stalfos.
I almost wonder if this is muscle memory more than anything. I've been guilty of rushing to this check too, because I've only been through Forest Temple like 200 times by now.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because Forest Temple is one of those that like you can basically autopilot through a lot of the time, and it's a good one in sort of standard for trying to think about what your next steps are. If you've got some time to kill, but you still want to be productive. And yeah, it looks like we are going to have a little bit of a peek. I don't know how deep what the hells will go, but certainly going to check these top first floor checks anyway.
Huffpuff looks like he's farming money for a tunic, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Has that not seen Fire Foolish, perhaps?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. I certainly don't blame him for thinking down that line if you get a Path Hammer and you don't know Fire is Foolish, but unfortunately we know that that's, well, unless it's for the dungeon reward, probably not the answer. And a big chest in Forest.
It's just a load up. There's a big chest in the well as well.
And Huffpuff getting those the second bow, so hopefully should be able to.
Oh,
speaking of bows,
so that's all our bows.
So Huffpuff should be able to piece together that Kokiri Forest has some other path item if he's seen all the hints. It's very hard for us to keep track in the booth of like what runner has seen which hints. It's easy for us because we see everything. So the runners may not know everything that we know.
This is good. Now they've got storms, remembering about Kokiri Forest and this being the path. It's very important.
Yeah, to be honest, there really hasn't been a lot of divergence from the runners overall. We saw a little bit early on, but really the only thing we've seen different is the Child Goron City play from Huffpuff that paid off big time. And now Huffpuff has the long shot, and it's up to him to figure out what to do with it.
In theory, that's a big piece of information that What the Hells does not have yet. And so if you can figure that out sooner rather than later, that could definitely swing it in his favour. Oh, first time Midas skip from Huffpuff. Little shield flick there, he's impressed by himself with that one.
It's better than I do.
Yeah, that was really good.
The seed, if I were playing this seed, I'd kind of feel stressed out by the issue of there's too many places to go, almost. Because you want to go to ice, obviously, and you might want to, so especially after seeing Saria's in SFM, you kind of want to do Forest. If you know Longshot is Path, you kind of want to go GTG and Cross. There's just a lot to do.
Fortunately, Huffpuff did not get baited into going into fire at all, it seems. At least, not for now. So, bought themselves a pointless tunic, but at least have saved themselves like 5 to 10 minutes.
Really hoping that Huffpuff elects not to go Forest here, because I want to see him fly. But it seems like it's going to be
Gerudo Valley, Path to Courage, that'll be up on back. Unless there's something in Hammer Chest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most likely explanation for our hammer path. right now. I don't think that it can be bombs. I guess it could be bombs because the other bomb bag was in the maze, and hammer is bomb lock, so it could be bombs still. But if it's not GB hammer, then what's going on?
yeah, that's a bit funky if it isn't. Which again is good news for Huffpuff. The sooner they get down that way, the sooner they can start answering those questions. But yeah, doing exactly the same thing as what the hell's. Just come in here, do these 2 checks, beat Phantom Ganon, unlock a song.
Yeah, I think what the hell's is finally going to make his way over to Ice Cavern now. It's probably been high on his list for a while, and the routing's been good. I mean, all this stuff routes together very nicely with the Iron Boots and just kind of using the shortcut well. And yeah, we'll get to see our song there, which is probably Minuet, I'm guessing, as well as some sort of item. We'll learn a lot from that item, probably.
Crater Path of Courage.
Yeah, we know that's for storms already.
Now it's Huffpuff's turn to play tennis with the ghost. It's pretty appropriate custom music for this fight.
I'm still holding out for the Baby Shark music planned out.
And we are going to have to go to inside Ganon's castle, because that is Path of Courage.
Yeah, I thought we had that one already, but
I must have
another place that we need to go, right? Add that to the list.
That's the thing. It's so there's so many places. It's easy to forget which ones we've actually seen or not.
We're getting a little bit of fireworks from Huffpuff's side, but ooh, this is spicy. Look at this.
Whoa! Very nice.
Yeah,
Huffpuff's played
Ganon
well.
Indeed. That's the most Ganon you're going to see in these settings.
Yeah. Bye Ganon. We're not going to see you ever again until maybe the end cutscene when you disappear into the void. But even then, not guaranteed if we don't hit 3 Triforce pieces.
Yeah, but we've been making our way through the path hints that we've seen in pretty good time. Unless these paths end up diverging substantially, I think we're going to see probably at least most of the pieces, if not all of them, just based on the trajectory. But yeah, Huffpuff, what is the play now? Is this maybe a Burning Cack pickup? Was this a scale down there?
Interesting. Iron Boots locked scale.
Yeah, so that actually hard confirms that those Iron Boots are hard required for hovers, because the Iron Boots lock a scale. So you could never get those hover boots without first getting the Iron Boots.
These icebergs are such a pain to try and get on. There we go. And yeah, your call's correct. This is Burning Cack, so we're going to find out what song we've got here.
Ooh, Requiem.
Oh, interesting.
And that's going to lead to another song as well, which we're kind of running out of songs here. Probably Nocturne. I mean, it's Nocturne or Minuet, right? I guess it'd have to be Nocturne, unless there's crossing involved. Could this be like a crazy crossing chain for Minuet for forced access?
Oh, that would be pretty funny, but also pretty nasty.
Well, we're gonna get some more information from What the Hell's side in Ice Cavern, because if we see like Lens and Nocturne in ice, it's going to be funny.
Ooh. Like Huffpuff has got a similar idea and is on their way to ice as well.
Yeah, sensible. So many places to go, so little time.
Yeah, that time is ticking down, which is the other interesting thing I like about these segments, is that instead of being like, okay, yeah, I'm on a timer, I've got to be fast, because you're obviously racing someone, but like it adds a different twist to it when you know you've got a hard time limit, in theory.
Yeah, the time limit is especially there just to give people permission to play aggressively. We've all been there, I think, having played Rando, where 3.5 hours into our seed, we find our missing go mode item on chickens, and and so yeah, I mean,
3.5 hours in, and it's the hard orphan last check, and you hate the seed by that point, and you just want it all to end.
Yeah, and I mean, you should be skipping chickens though. Like, it's bad, and so if for some reason you make a mistake in Triforce Blitz and you just totally goof it, and if you play Triforce Blitz, you've been there too. Then at least you're not going to be stuck there for 3.5 hours trying to chase down that one thing that you left behind in the horrible place. So big chest time. Let's see what this is. Oh my god, did I call it? Did I call it?
No. So all we need is Nocturne at the end, and you need to put away the spoiler log, Ella.
I just, literally, I just thought of, what would be the most cursed thing possible, and how it came out of my mouth, and I spoke it into existence.
That's amazing. Well, that's concerning. I think it's safe to say.
Maybe that missing long shot isn't maybe as much of a problem anymore. If this is Nocturne, then it's probably crossing for Minuet. And it could be crossing for Minuet to get Requiem for Spirit.
Oh. I hope so.
Well, it could be, we could literally be skipping almost the entire chain. Because if it's all just like a giant logic chain for a key and Spirit, well, we already have Requiem. What the Hells will have it as soon as he goes and picks it up. So they're definitely not going to actually cross for the logic. They will just play the song and whoop.
Yep, just skip a couple of steps with one song. Always nice.
One little first try backflip over Mido is all it takes.
Hashtag put Mido skip in logic. I mean,
no, I like the skips.
I'm not automatically against it.
Alright, what's our song? There's pretty much only two choices, I think. We know where Epona's is, so this is either Minuet or Nocturne.
The most underwhelming end boss of any dungeon in this game.
That hard confirms the lens, by the way.
And it's Nocturne.
It was. Oh, it spoke it into existence.
Nocturne and lens. Okay. Thank you.
Well, that means Nocturne's path too. That explains why hovers are path. So yeah, we're probably gonna need to go to Shadow Temple this scene. Probably got some pieces hiding out there. We got long shot in logic though, so Epona probably not going to be a thing. It's going to be Shadow for a reason. Big question about how deep this Dins is. There's not a ton of items locking Shadow right now, other than potentially the magic and Dins. So if there's actually going to be a piece in Shadow, then the magic and the Dins probably have to be locked away pretty far.
And there's the Minuet as well, as predicted at Colossus.
So all of a sudden, we had all these places we wanted to go, And now we probably just want to go to Ganon's castle, but we have places that we want to go that we can't go. We want to go to Shadow and we want to go to Spirit, most likely.
Yeah, and at the moment we're not really anywhere near either of them.
I guess we could get into Child Spirit for both of them once they take the time to route it in, but other than that, Adult Spirit feels a long way away.
Mm-hmm. No sign of any strengths whatsoever so far. Oh!
You spoke it into existence.
We haven't seen a spoiler log, we swear, honestly.
So it looks like Huffpuff might be making a GTG play, and I mean, we'll see how this turns out, but I think this could be potentially the first mistake of the seed. I guess Huffpuff doesn't know about the ice situation, right? Did he do ice?
No, hasn't done ice yet, so doesn't know what's
Was he having issues with jumping over King Zora? Is that what happened? I thought I saw him in there.
Yeah, because he was definitely trying to do the skip. And I don't
he did. He
oh yeah, he did. And then he went to the fountain as well, but didn't press on into Ice Cavern, I guess.
Did he not know that it was double path? I mean, we're gonna need Nocturne, so like he's gonna have to go back there. That's it's definitely not bait necessarily.
Oh, Ref is saying that he
he died.
He died and then save quit. That would
That's
explain
a tough break.
why he didn't end up in Ice Cavern. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, I remember him doing the skip, and I remember him getting scale. So it's like, oh, it must have done ice. And then all of a sudden we're at Desert Colossus. It's, what?
I've only got 2 screens to look at, and I still missed that.
I mean, yeah, Purple, you're right. You could have still gone and done it. I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
Well, anyway, this is an interesting play. I'm not sure that there's going to be anything in GTG. I guess this will get us the Garuda Valley check, though, so that's going to give us some more information.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that bomb bag path, or is it hammer for
whatever's in the in the hammer chest?
And on the other side, we got a big chest in Ganon's castle, so still waiting to see what that path is going to end up being.
I guess it is.
Well, yeah, it's probably that.
That's probably it, yep.
So what the hell's gonna wistfully look at the Shadow Temple entrance, but then pick up Requiem from Nocturne Shadow.
Yeah.
Still has to skip that Composer Grave, just not gonna get that song apparently.
Yeah, presumably still determined to do it with a fire source, I guess, is really.
No, I think he's forgotten at this point.
But that is also pretty convincing argument.
I'm pretty sure. Let's make sure to meme on him after the seed. Didn't you know that your Go mode mirror shield was actually in the Composer Grave Firelock, or in the toilet or whatever? Anyway, Huffpuff straight into GTG. Not going to give us a peek at Garuda Valley, so we'll still just be wondering what is there. Maybe someone will tell us eventually.
And yeah, Rafa, one of our trackers, pointing out, is happy 1 hour. We are at the halfway point.
What the hell is learning that turns out that Nocturne has Requiem.
No.
Really useful information.
So let's quickly shout out everybody here who's helping make this happen. Start with the trackers. We've got Miraba, who's in chat as Merasior, and Rafa doing our tracking today and helping keep the sheet updated. At the same time, I believe Sadie is also here helping us keep the sheet updated in the background. Restreamer today is Blank, but we know it's Hell Knight, as always. Well, not as always anymore, actually, since Destar is also a restreamer, and I believe Tobias is going to be one soon, hopefully. my co-com today and creator of these really enjoyable settings. And tell me if I pronounce your name wrong, because I'm sure I will. Elagatua?
Sure, it's good enough. It's kind of its own meme that everybody just kind of says my name however they want to, and I'm here for it.
Good to hear. And obviously our two runners, which is What the Hells and Huffpuff. Huffpuff Elite, I guess, 1337. So definitely give them a follow if you aren't already. This is what we like to do, is put on great races, but also highlight some runners that you might not have seen before. And I know Huffpuff has been around in chat in the community for quite a while, so it's good to see them. Good to see them competing, and it's a fellow Brit as well, so I have to be slightly biased.
Yeah, honestly, I've been really impressed with Huffpuff. I had not seen him play really before, but I think overall, like, the quality of execution is solid. Like, there have been a few minor mistakes, but a lot of times just playing rando is about not letting the small mistakes sink your ship. Mm-hmm. And he's taken like a few small deaths, but it's only like a minute here, a minute there, and if you go to the right place first, it's still probably going to be enough. And he's got those hover boots, and What the Hells doesn't. And I think What the Hells is going to hope to find them in Goron City, but he's not going to. And this is a challenging seed. There's a lot of hints to keep track of. And we have a few hints that are just kind of dangling, so to speak. We got that hammer path that is some question marks, and for What the Hells has this iron boots path that is a big question mark. And we kind of think we know where we need to go, but we're not really sure how to get there.
Yeah, still a few pieces of a puzzle that are very much missing right now.
Magic being the one at the top of the list.
And there's What the Hell's getting their long shot, so they should know now that the long shot is important and path.
Yeah, but he's probably going to realize that it's for the Requiem logic. We will be seeing Darunia's Joy, though, which is not something we saw on Huffpuff's side, so there is the outside chance that this could be important.
Come on, Darunia. What have you got? We're playing you a lovely song and everything. Give us something good.
Oh, and there's a big chest in GTG. That's probably going to explain the hammer.
Yeah, it's the Hammerlock chest, isn't it?
If that mirror shield is actually required, that is horrible for Huffpuff, because it's very hard to imagine him going back to Goron City for that one check. But yeah, we probably got a path item about to show up here in GTG, so we'll see what that is in a moment.
Oh, it's not that.
Kidding.
I mean, Valley Hammer Chest is sort of getting stronger and stronger all the time, I think.
That is a giant troll. That would be a big chest, though.
If this was standard, it'd have saved himself 30 minutes there, but since we don't have to beat too many dungeons, it's not so much of a time save.
This is the danger of kind of committing to a dungeon before committing to an overworld check when you're trying to chase a path, especially when you don't have the dungeon hinted path. Because, I mean, so far this has been nothing. And this is a pretty big time commitment. And we've only got like 55 minutes left, and we know that Shadow's going to show up at some point, and maybe Spirit's going to show up too, so you're going to need time to do those dungeons, and you're going to be under 20 minutes before you realize it, and not a lot of time left to chase those pieces, even if you have all the items for them.
I think we're about to see the toilet, so to start, if you're watching.
Okay, so normally I would never advise doing toilet, but Huffpuff is doing toilet because in his last seed he found his final Triforce piece in toilet. And he's like, hey, it worked last time, I'm going to do it again.
Oh, they say lightning never strikes twice, but that's not quite true, so it could be.
I mean, ooh, that's unfortunate. So, I don't know if anybody caught what was going on earlier. I didn't mention it. Huffpuff did not get the big chest above the eye statue because he didn't have enough hearts. And if he had voided out there, he actually would have died. And so, wisely, he chose to kind of keep going and then peek it. But unfortunately, he just peeked it, and now it's a big chest. So he's probably going to have to go back there.
Oh, that feels bad.
Yeah, just like a little bit of sloppiness, unfortunately, is going to...
No scarecrow set, so he's going to have to go all the way around. So, not a lot to do about that. I'm going to waste a lot of time in toilet, but...
It's not a waste if it's an item, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
Huffpuff is holding his breath.
Bought the wrong tunic, but didn't have enough money for a Zora tunic, so...
Well, the good old 3-heart toilet. Very stressful when you're on restream in a game 3.
Yeah, against what the hell's happened to all players.
Yeah, nothing at stake here. Looks like he's just gonna take another dive at it. And what the hell's gonna be chasing those iron boots all the way to the hover boots. And now what the hell's magic away from maybe a first Triforce piece or two?
It's a question, where is that magic?
And where is that strength too as well? That's looming large, especially with that mirror shield. Like, what the hell's is in a good position, but he's one item away from being in a solid position.
Yes. And I think we might be seeing the Valley Hammer check pretty soon, from what else.
Yeah, and hopefully from Huffpuff as well, although Huffpuff is going to have to track down that big chest.
All the way back to that big chest.
I mean, it's not that bad, but it's another minute and a half, and you lose a minute and a half here, a minute and a half there, and eventually it starts adding up to real time.
Mm-hmm. It's just taunting him.
Yeah. And Huffpuff also is going to have to go back to Ice Cavern to get Nocturne, unless he just goes all in for Spirit and maybe hopes to get like 2 out of 3 and win that way. But yeah, I think it's likely that there's 2 in Shadow and 1 in Spirit, not the other way around. And
there's the magic. There we go. Yeah, it all makes sense. All makes sense now.
So the question is, can What the Hells figure out that this long shot is just for crossing? GTG is probably nothing. And we knew it was unlikely to have anything. And if he can somehow avoid losing a lot of time to GTG and get into Shadow, you could be done potentially pretty soon.
Oh, it was just another slingshot. Oh, poor Huffpuff. GTG,
yeah.
Completely pointless. But, I mean, What the Hells could get baited in as well, and gives Huffpuff time to go back to ice and catch up again. Which looks like they're probably going to go do now. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Huffpuff is going. I'm quite confused, actually. Maybe this is just Adult Lake, but I don't know why.
Nothing really saying, oh, go Adult Lake.
Is he going to farm bombs? That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, it must be, not having any bombs.
So if you're in this situation, I mean, there's nothing wrong with farming some bombs, but there's also the option to Bolero and buy bombs from the shop. It's probably a little faster. Maybe this is another this is Lab Dive. What the hell is going to leave Furores and GTG? Okay, I like this play. This is good.
Yeah, that Furores is very powerful right now, because he knows the chances are, like we were saying, but as Huffpuff found out, there's nothing suggesting there's anything.
Yeah, and
especially now that Shadow's open.
that's good game sense from What the Hells, because keep in mind, he just found that magic, and then he still had the kind of thinking on his feet to keep going to GTG. If that were me, I might have just reflex Nocturned.
Yeah, just I've got it right. Let's go straight to Shadow.
Because it's not like he could have planned on like, oh, I'll go to GTG and play and put Furores there, because he didn't have magic yet.
Mm-hmm.
So just thinking on his feet, it's good stuff from What the Hells. It's a veteran.
Huffpuff setting up the Scarecrow that kind of wishes he'd had in GTG. Could have saved himself a minute or so. But what's done is done. We're going to get Adult Fishing coming up.
We know that that magic is logically locked behind both hook shots. So I think we are... I haven't done a count. But yeah, I think that Shadow could have one, but probably not two.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that crossing for the lens is going to end up being path for both the power and the courage piece, which strongly suggests that there's two in spirit and one here in shadow. And with that said, I mean that doesn't mean that it's all over for Huffpuff. If there's two pieces in spirit and strength 2 is somewhere silly in the overworld, and Huffpuff can track it down, like 2 is more than 1, as they say.
It's very, very correct.
But at least figuring out which dungeon is which is not too hard in this case, simply because Lens Path has not been used for anything getting to Shadow. And so we know that it's got to be used for something eventually. And the most logical thing that it would be used for is Minuet to get Requiem. Also, Huffpuff has not made a visit to Ganon's castle yet. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if he's forgotten that it's Path.
Yeah, there was a few interesting choices, like not going Ice, not going Ganon's castle, doing Adult Lake when there's nothing really to suggest there's anything here. Unless finds second strength on top of Lab, in which case it was a very big play. Nope. Just a piece of heart.
This is my secret strategy. I don't want to count, so I'm going to let chat count. They can figure it out. And there's one piece in Shadow until we find otherwise. You hear me? You hear me?
You're giving the commentary game away. Shush. We totally don't rely on chat for things like that.
It's okay. We're busy watching the stream. They can go off and do their homework.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. Don't do this.
So I don't think he knows that water is foolish.
I mean, must not. There's no way. No way he would ever be going in here if he knew.
Yeah, so I think this is just some mistakes reading the hints as well. Iron Boots, he should know based on what the information is that he's picked up that Iron Boots are locking the hovers, like hard confirmed, because he's got the scale that was Iron Boots locked. So he can know that based on what he has found, but I think he's thinking too much about those Iron Boots being Path.
Yeah, and the hint was in the Storm's Grotto on DMT, which I'm sure that Huffpuff has been to. So should know that this is a complete waste of time. And a big waste of time as well. It's not exactly a fast dungeon. Water Temple.
Yeah, I mean, if you make a mistake big enough, it can sink you in Blitz 100%, because not only is this like lost time, but this is precious lost time against the time limit. Only 43 minutes, and so every minute spent in water is less opportunity to run into a strength 2 that could get him into Spirit.
Which at this point, if Spirit's got 1 or possibly 2, that could probably be what wins him the game. But that window is getting smaller and smaller all the time as What the Hells continues to work his way through Shadow Temple.
Yeah, it does seem like his path to victory is through Spirit and hoping that there's no strength 2 available. But there's a Triforce piece.
There we go, 1-0.
So decision time for What the Hells. Keep going or bail? I guess he doesn't really have any great incentive to bail necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible there could be another one in here, potentially.
Yeah, well, there could be another one here, but there also could just be strength 2 here.
That's true, yeah.
So I don't hate either decision, to be honest. I'd probably call it wisdom, but I mean, you could be right.
Yeah, it's not 100% confirmed, I don't think. Again, because 12 steps path being repeated twice. And the 10.
Okay, well, chat has concluded that that's 11 items deep, and I can tell you with great confidence that that's not true. It's definitely not 11 items deep.
Yeah, it's slightly off somewhere.
I know some things about these settings, and I know it's not 11. Yes, so we're just doing a little bit of lighthearted trolling from the commentators' booth. You don't see us trying to count. That should tell you something.
No, I'm very much relying on chat to give us some ideas of what the counts might be. I don't literally have the ability to work it all out on the spreadsheet. That's a big chest. That's going to be
disappointing big chest. This is going to be bomb, choose, or bait. Yeah.
Oh, completely useless.
It had to be.
Is a meme item though, so yeah. I guess if we're going for meme percent, Huffpuff's in the lead, but this isn't meme percent tournament. This is Triforce Blitz tournament, sadly.
So yeah, I think Chad is starting to convince me that that Spirit might actually be the 10, because keep in mind that the Hover Boots and Nocturne and Dins are likely not going to be on the path to Spirit Temple. And so that's actually a lot of items left, even though the lens would be path for crossing for Spirit. So it definitely could be possible that the Spirit ends up being less items. And if that's the case, then we'll be seeing another Triforce piece here pretty soon. So I'll just let What the Hells do the work, and we'll see.
I think it's safe to assume he's got a bit of a better grasp on what the seed wants him to do than Huffpuff, considering that Huffpuff is still in foolish water.
Yeah, just here.
Another ball.
That's annoying. But yeah, if there's 2 in Shadow, I don't see a way back for Huffpuff, unfortunately. I think Huffpuff needs it to be 2 in Spirit to have any hope.
Yeah. The question is he even going to get to Spirit before the time limit if he keeps spending time in foolish dungeons?
Well, I mean, you only need about maybe 12 to 15 minutes to full clear Spirit if you include Child Spirit. So, I mean, let's say he spends another 5-ish minutes here in Foolish Water, 20 minutes doing overworld stuff. The real danger is that instead of doing overworld, he ends up retracing back to ice and doing Ganon's, which we know has Dins, and so he's going to get a lot of stuff leading him to
Shadow.
Leading him to Shadow, which is not going to help him, unfortunately. No. Even though we know there's pieces there.
It looks like it's determined to basically full clear water at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think he slipped the Gerudo Valley path through his mind, or maybe thought it was bombs, but yeah, it's easy to make one silly mistake, and it's kind of easy to criticize from the commentator's booth, but keeping track of 10 path hints and a bunch of numbers, all while trying to execute stuff as quickly as possible in a high-pressure race on Restream against one of the champions of one of the main seasons of Zooter, I mean, it's it's a lot to ask. Well, getting towards the end of Shadow, no sign of another piece yet, but I could be speaking it into existence, and Bongo could still be hanging on to it. Bongo and Trinrovo, they really love their Triforce pieces. What the hell has all the keys already? So there are 2 checks left, so two shots at a big one.
That is a big one. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty confirmed GG's now. I think. Very difficult to see Huffpuff getting back from this.
At this point, the only way Huffpuff can win is to find all 3 pieces, and that would involve going all the way back through the Shadow Temple that we just saw what the hell's clear. So I think that probably removes most of the drama from the outcome for us, but I don't know about you. I still want to see that 3rd Triforce piece.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think at this point it's probably more likely that we don't reach the time limit, because although what the hell is this going to waste a bit of time here in GTG?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this play anymore though, because it's really likely, I think at this point, that there's 3 strengths available, and if that's the case, then they can literally be anywhere. And kind of all the hints go out the window at that point. So why not clear this high density dungeon that you have Furor's Wind in? Yeah. Nothing wrong with it at all.
No, it makes that complete sense. I think what the hell's got to be feeling pretty good that they've sort of been working out the logic of his seed fairly consistently all the way through. Two pieces, 35 minutes left. It's a pretty strong position to be in.
Yeah, definitely a strong performance so far. Not really baited by anything. Has done a good job cleaning up the leftover path hints and just not losing track of anything. Followed magic to the right places. It's been good.
Huffpuff showing us the dungeon that we all thought we would avoid seeing today, and we're going to see all of it. Which does feel a bit bad.
Yeah, it's just the danger of blind committing to a dungeon, and also just keeping the hint straight. Like it's just one of those skills that you gotta grow over time in Triforce Blitz, is just managing all your information and remembering what was path for what and what could be locking what, and there's a lot going on with the mental aspect of it that is very hard.
There's a lot more sort of hints to keep track of than even in standard, because we get up to like 8 path hints and things like that, which is a lot to keep track of. 8, 9, 10, as opposed to sort of 5 or something that you might get in standard with a load of sometimes hints instead.
We've got a epic Dark Link duel, and what the hell's getting some hearts, so not in danger of dying. Seems like the theme is low health in GTG, but what the hell's maintaining a quarter of a heart more than Huffpuff did at the time when it mattered. Well, Huffpuff finishing the Foolish Water gives us a chance to maybe see some more checks. This looks like a Ganon's play to me. We might see Shadow 2, though, which What the Hells did not give us a peek of, so still some chance for some excitement left.
Yeah, I mean, if Shadow 2's got a strength, and then Huffpuff just goes, I'm going to Rush Spirit, it still probably won't be enough, but we'll avoid 0-3 anyway, as was predicting himself to get before the race.
I still think Huffpuff could potentially make it into Shadow. The thing that worries me is the magic, though. He really had a good opportunity to pick that up after GTG and just slipped his mind. And he'll get Dins here, and he potentially could go back to Ice to get Nocturne. But when is he going to get magic? That's what I worry about.
Yeah, I think What the Hell's read the hammer logic much better than Huffpuff has managed. Because knowing that basically that's the only thing it could really be at that point, and not really doing it, it's going to feel bad.
So What the Hell's back in Child now? I imagine this is a bottom of the well play. I imagine this is a Child Spirit play. Forgot about that one. Definitely could be Child Spirit. I might not need that strength.
Yeah, I mean, it could not need any strength at all. I'd forgotten about Child Spirit. We are going to see Shadow 2, though, as was suggested. So this is one that we have not seen yet. So this could be pretty big. Could be the slight opening that Huffpuff needs.
Yeah, I think that magic has to be Path, though, for the 12s to work, but could potentially be Strength, too.
Mm-hmm.
But no dice. Does need fire for that room, in fact, but happily discovers it's nothing, so that's going to save a minute. Always love to see it. That looks like a key, but I can't really tell. Neither can What the Hells. Nope, I'm wrong.
Nope, just a small chest.
So Adult Spirit is Requiem locked, and if we want that third piece, we probably need a strength upgrade. And the question now is, where to? I'd probably do bottom of the well, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think at this point that storm's quite early and it's quite important. I think bottom of the well is also the most dense spot that we've got left. He's a child anyway, so...
Yeah, in a situation where you suspect that...
Oh, treasure chest game. Get your guesses in.
Ah, alright. Finally, some restream value.
Yes.
You gotta love What the Hells. He gives the people what they want. You gotta respect that.
You definitely gotta respect that. Okay, so right. Left, I'm out. Right, left, left. Right, left, left, right. Not looking good for anyone so far. Right, left, left. Right, left.
I will never
Everyone
forget the time
loses.
that I went all rights and it was all lefts.
Oh, that always feels bad. So,
Well, that's Dins.
Has for
Doesn't help,
Dins.
though.
No, nothing can't do anything with it. And this isn't getting any closer to being able to do anything with it either. This pretty much looks like an ice play, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think this might be to go back and get Nocturne, but even if you finish ice and then you chase magic down very quickly, how far can you really get into Shadow by the time the time limit cuts you off?
And maybe still find that third piece to actually win, because just finding both those ones in Shadow isn't going to cut it anyway. It needs all three to win this one.
But yeah, What the Hell still has a chance to get us out of here before the time limit. Is going to be taking my wise advice and going to bottom of the well. If he had taken it earlier, he could have saved some time. I mean, Child Spirit, like, what are the odds?
Yeah. He pays your money, he takes your choice, I guess. Huffpuff's found that one out with Barren Water.
Solid collection of songs of this seed. You gotta like the medallion layout. That's the most convenient Nocturne you'll probably ever get.
So What the Hell's hopefully going to answer a few questions for us here with this expedition to into the sewers of the well. Nothing so far.
You got a big chest, but again, we're looking for Strength 2 here. Strength 2 is probably the end, if we can find it.
No, just our fourth bottle. Delicious well milk. Mmm.
What even do we have left for like possible strength locations? We've seen a lot of overworld checks.
We have actually, yeah.
Another big boy.
This could be it, just sat right here. Guess we haven't seen Haunted Wastelands.
There it is, okay. And,
yep, straight off to Spirit, go get the third piece, and we can wrap this up early. That's what the hell's be thinking right now.
Yeah, so I've seen What the Hell's play a few Blitz seeds. I tell this story often, but back in the very early days when we were testing Triforce Blitz, I think it was actually the very first like race that we ever tried to have. It was me versus What the Hells, and we were just kind of messing around. Mm-hmm. And he found something in the compass chest in Dodonga's cavern and proceeded to stare at the wall for like 5 minutes, trying to figure out like where he would go next, just in like total analysis paralysis mode. And so I was a little bit worried that without like a lot of experience in the format, that he could get wrecked potentially by a really nasty seed. But honestly, he's played this seed extraordinarily well, and with a lot of poise in what was a pretty tricky seed, honestly, with some silly logic but really good routing and kind of the fundamentals carrying him. And you can just see the experience really when
For sure.
Yeah, when the pressure is high and the information is overwhelming.
Especially when Endless Seed, as we were saying, like before the hour mark, it's like so many options of places to go, and What the Hell's basically made all the judgment calls correctly. Essentially, very little wasted time.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like it would have been hard for him to mess it up, but keep in mind that he made pretty much all the right calls, even if it was probably the better play each time to make the right call. But there's something to be said for like not doing something terrible that self-destructs your run.
Mm-hmm.
We've probably all been there at least once, right? But
oh god, yes.
like leaving Shadow early, like there's the temptation there if you miscounted, like some people who will not be named in the commentary booth, but not in the chat. And chasing after density, thinking that the strengths are not path. Right about that as well, and failing, knowing where he needs to go to get into Spirit Temple for that third piece. And if it's not here, then we'll look really silly. But you got to imagine that it's here.
Now that lens and then Nocturne should push Huffpuff to finally, hopefully, go get their magic before the time runs out, but...
Or not.
Or not. No, we could just do Prelude and get out of here. I guess at this point, he's thinking, I've got to gamble now, it's 20 minutes left.
Not the end, as the big chest trolls us. Spirit Temple, home of the third slingshot and third bomb bag every time.
Just like second magic's almost always in Shadow. Except this time.
Yeah. Well, I guess we saw all Shadow. Did we see Bongo? I don't know if we saw Bongo.
Oh, we didn't see Bongo, actually. Could be on Bongo, yeah. Yeah, What the Hell's got their second Triforce piece and just dipped straight away, which... Why would you carry on at that point? It's not going to be all three.
But, Huffpuff failing out of there, thinking that the lens is the only path, but again, it kind of goes back to hint management. I don't know if Huffpuff remembers that it's double path for ice. Surely he knows what the song is by process of elimination. So just, I think... maybe wagering, kind of what we were thinking earlier, that the 12s are in Spirit and the 10s Shadow, and maybe I can get 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sensible... Like, we know, based on the situation, that would be a sensible play. But we also know it's sadly going to be a little bit too late.
Yeah, I wonder if he had found the magic, if he might have just kept going there and tried to go for the Shadow pieces, but yeah, I mean, that's... I don't hate the play necessarily. This wasn't the biggest issue with the run, the Water Temple play, and not keeping track of the Irons logic. That was kind of the big decider, and everything else is small potatoes.
Yeah, Water really feels like full clearing it as well. That's just 10 minutes gone right there, at least.
Yep. And just one of those things. Iron's path for hovers in this situation, because Iron's locked to scale, and sometimes it's just one little thing that ends up costing 15 minutes in a 2-hour race, and that's all she wrote. But,
that's what it comes down to. What you're saying about keeping track of all the different hints, because if you think that you're on, oh no, this makes sense. I'm doing this and this and this, and this will get me to about 10. But if you've misread it completely, then it doesn't matter how well you're reading it, because your logic is flawed from the start, and it will give you the wrong solution. So,
yeah, and all it takes is being off by 1. I famously had a seed where there was a path bomb bag, but not for one of the paths, that caused me to be off by 1 and walk by my Go Mode Triforce piece in Spirit Temple as I went to beat Spirit Temple to get Storms, which is locked behind Spirit Temple and full clear bottom of the well. Anyway, not my greatest moment, but
yeah, that feels bad.
You don't have to be wrong by much to have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
We're still looking for that.
Yeah, it's not early in spirit, is it? It's going quite a way in to get this. And I have to say, I agree with Purple. Huffpuff looks like he's playing like someone who knows he's kind of lost the thread of what he's supposed to do, and is just kind of throwing some darts at the dartboard, hoping something sticks at this point.
Well, it's going to stick to a mirror shield in a second, so that will help. Maybe he can figure out to get to well. If I were Child in the situation, I might give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So potential to see some Spirit Temple from Huffpuff, assuming that What the Hells is not able to run into that Triforce piece in the next few minutes.
Nice mirror shield colours. Gotta say, Huffpuff wins the tunic and shield colouring for me today. I enjoy that sort of purple. It's a nice colour. It's going to be on Twin Rover again. I mean, Tobias, you're probably right at this point, because we've got like 2 checks left. Hey, baby shark. Yeah, this seed was a spicy meatball. And it could be over right now. Nope, just choose.
What the Hells? Does What the Hells know that it's a key on the sunblock room? So I know why this is happening. Chad is freaking out. I'm not freaking out. I think What the Hells is very suspicious that it's not. Ooh, that What the Hells. That water foolish feels really bad.
Oh, he's
probably saying What the
and a Zora tunic as well, just to rub it in a little bit further.
So logically speaking, Forest is actually pretty deep because it's behind crossing, and I suspect that mirror is not required. It's just a little bit hard to imagine. If mirror is required, then SFM has to be path for Saria, and also there's something else too. And then Goron City has to be path twice. But we don't have hints for either of those cases, so it's more likely that it's not. So something in the 10 vicinity could definitely be Forest Temple, maybe. I just would like to know if that sunblock room was a key. What the Hell should know based on just counting, but I wasn't paying attention, so I don't.
Big chest here. Boomerang.
I can put that one back.
Yeah, don't need that. Ooh, banana.
But not golden.
No.
I don't think Jabu was hinted foolish. I think it was every other dungeon that was hinted foolish.
Yeah,
I know it's fire, water, and Deku at the minimum, and there may have been more.
I think there was a 4th one as well. Just not sure which. I'll have to get the sheet back up. No, it was just those 3. The other ones were Hyrule Castle and Lost Woods. This could be a Jabu play, yes.
It would be quite something if it was Jabu. Let me put it that way.
It certainly would, yeah.
Did we see any overworld hints on Wisdom?
DMC, Kakiri Forest.
Yeah, so there's no way if we have all our path hints, there's no way it can be in Jabu because Boomerang would have to be hinted somewhere if it were actually Jabu. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna probably be hanging out here for the last 13 minutes or so. I kind of get the feeling that this third piece is gonna elude us, but result not really in doubt ever since the Shadow Temple.
Yeah, Shadow Temple having both, and what the hell's following that hammer logic and not forgetting the magic, and just a few little things that all added up. And as you said, the biggest one was not doing DMT Storms for Huffpuff and not knowing that water was foolish and wasting 12 minutes that could have been spent on something else.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough break, but not the end for Huffpuff. So there's 2 brackets that are going to be created for the results of this opening round. There'll be a main tournament and then also a Wanderers tournament. And What the Hell's sure to advance to the main tournament. Probably as many of us expected, just based on his experience and lineage, so to speak. And then Huffpuff will get another crack at it in the Wanderer tournament, and we'll see how
it's really good.
To go there.
A bit like season, like main season CC. It's sort of the same equivalent. I like that they've got that as a second round. I wasn't aware of that. So yeah, Huffpuff, not in the main bracket, but certainly not out of this. Still more Triforce Blitz games ahead for him, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I promised everybody who joined this tournament you'd get a minimum of 2 best of 3s no matter what happens. So that's my way on delivering that that promise. But
I think it's really good.
We're gonna get some pretty strong players ending up in the the Wanderer bracket, not the Challenger bracket. I used to call it Challenger bracket for some reason.
Because it's what kind of Challenge Cup. It's what we're used to, isn't it? But,
yeah, the Wanderer just doesn't roll off the tongue. But we'll be getting some strong players in the Wanderer bracket because later on today, we've got Fluflush and Martin that have been unlucky enough to draw each other in this opening round, courtesy of some kind of wonky results in the qualifier. And
that qualifier certainly put the cat among the pigeons when it came to seeding and the matchups for this opening round.
Yeah, that's kind of the drawback of only having one. If the one is weird, then it's weird. But, I mean, regardless, you got a best of 3. You win it, you're in the main bracket. But those are 2 players that probably would both be in the main bracket on a normal day. Fluflu is probably one of the most experienced Blitz players, and Martin is very good as well. I've seen his times on a number of the asyncs, and both of them Season 5 top runners. So
yeah, I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, they both had a pretty good run through Season 5. Very excited for that one. But as you say, it's 2 top players drawing each other like that in the first round. It's going to be rough on one of them.
Yeah, I mean, whoever loses is my favorite in the Wanderer bracket. Let's put it that way.
And Huffpuff reaching 5%. And I'm sure feels wonderful about that right now.
I mean, Deep Forest is probably the most likely place for a third piece right now. So if he's got a chance to find one, maybe.
Yeah. Prove himself wrong, that he doesn't lose 3-0.
Well, I don't think he's going to lose 3-0.
Hey, how's it going, Heaps? Yeah, it's a shame that you couldn't enter this one, Heaps. I think, but I have a suspicion, based how popular this is and sort of how quick it is, I have a suspicion I think this will be back for another season.
Well, I'm going to try my hand at influencing some of the normal settings. I've got my my idea locked down for a proposal for SGL that people will be playtesting along with the other playtests for SGL, so keep an eye on that if you trust in my insane design sense.
I mean, I think this idea of the steps and paths is like a genius idea. I don't know where you got it from, because it's just so different from anything that you've seen in Rando.
Well, SGL is
great.
Most of the people who wanted SGL settings to be relatively sane, so I've kind of reeled myself in from my normal liberated. So I've been trying to do something a little bit closer to the standard. So it won't be that crazy, but it'll use a little bit of the improvements that we've made to the engine through the Blitz kind of coding process. There's some things that we can do in Blitz that we can't do in the main repo that would work really well in the settings for the new weekly stuff. So keep an eye out on that. That'll be, well,
very interesting.
Working on it this afternoon, probably.
Okay, hello. Rainbow Bridge condition, 11 hearts.
And pot sanity.
Oh,
we're just waiting on grass sanity. I heard that come up the other day.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's I'm still getting my head around the madness that is pot sanity, let alone grass sanity.
I confess that I've never played a pot sanity seed, and I don't think I ever will.
I've played one or two, but I prefer to watch than play.
It's like RSL, where RSL is clearly good and has a lot of people that are really smart playing it, but I physically cannot commit to a seed that could potentially go 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will respect it, but from a distance.
Yeah.
Well, we saw all that we were going to see of Forest, so no idea what's next. Maybe what the hell is going to go back to Forest? Yeah, that looks like it's it.
I do feel like on Restream or something, we need some sort of like countdown music for the last like 5 minutes or something. Just
I can think of one, but I think the copyright wouldn't like it.
Monka DMCA.
Yeah. Fortunately for this channel, I will not try to sing it either. Put the gun down, Hell Knight.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, yeah, that's definitely DMCA.
Yes.
But it's also stuck in my head now, so I'll do it in my head. And
let's all sing along in our heads silently.
Can't catch our can't read our memories, DMCA. Haha, take that.
Well, it looks like this seed is going to end in Forest Temple and Jabu. So, pretty cursed.
Yep. Not the greatest ending that we were looking for, but
well, maybe What the Hells will let us out of class a few minutes early, but it's only going to be a few minutes early because it's probably Rova or Fire Torch Room, or sorry, Sunblock Room, or deeper in Forest. It's kind of about the only possibilities left here.
oh, is that right? Is 8 out of 10 cats like known in America as well? It's,
I am a huge fan of Taskmaster. I don't know if you know that one.
I have not watched television for about 5 years. I'll be honest. I have no idea what shows are out there unless it's sort of something catches my eye and all.
Well, they have all the episodes on YouTube. I think it's brilliant. If you like game design at all, there is an endless fountain of wonderful ideas. Or if you have kids and you want like cool game ideas that don't require anything, also brilliant.
All right, I've got YouTube up right now. I'm going to go subscribe.
The best YouTube one to watch is definitely the one where they throw the potato in a hole. So if you have to watch one, watch that one. That'll give you a great sense of what the show's all about.
I'm fascinated already. You had me at potato in the hole. Like what?
I mean, that's literally all you need to know. There are 5 people. Their task is throw the potato in a hole. That's literally what it is. It's great.
Well, that's something I will go have a watch after we've finished up here today. Throw the ocarina in a hole.
And we just did it in a moat instead. Shoutouts to Zephyr, Potato Skip. Just throwing that out there. I know you're out there somewhere.
Somewhere through the ether, they will have heard.
That is the ultimate meme strat. No longer possible, but it used to be a thing where if you got a scale in Kokiri Forest, you could skip the ocarina. And that is a claim check. So,
It probably was our last chance to finish before the time limit there.
what the hell's, we'll get one more check. We'll get the full Forest Temple experience. But
lucky us.
Lucky us.
Lucky trackers as well. They're still awake.
But I hope you had a cozy final 40 minutes to your race. Maybe not the most glorious ending, but that's what you get sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But almost to the end at least.
Yeah, no, it is ironic, but it's still going to be wrong because it most likely is going to end 0-2 and not 0-3.
That is a big chest, I think.
It certainly is.
Why is it always here?
There it is. GG's.
Alright, we found them all before the time limit.
We go off a minute early.
Temple hates us, but I guess it just hates us. It could have been anywhere.
It literally could have, yeah. But no, it had to be falling ceiling room, of course. Alright, let's
Well, we'll see if we can get our runners into the room, but good performance by What the Hells. Checked all the places, and eventually there weren't any places left, and kind of ran into it in that stupid falling room in Forest Temple, which just always seems to have Triforce pieces. It's there, and Twin Rova, and Bongo, and I can't think of what other
painful places.
But those are the worst ones.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it was a really good race.
Well, the first hour was really exciting, and there's a lot of potential. And then it just became about hint management and information. And I think the better player won today. But I was really glad to see this come to a 3-game series. I thought that was awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's to take What the Hells to a final match in a best of 3. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, I'm just looking at the race room, and I know that the ELO on race times a bit skew-if, but just looking at the base rankings, What the Hell's just under 3,000, and Huffpuff is 1279. So that gives you an idea of their sort of experience levels between the two. So,
yep. And again, this is not the last that we'll see of these runners. Huffpuff going to get a shot at the Wanderer bracket. Going to have another chance at glory, and what the hell's going to be moving on to the main bracket and some bigger and better challenges.
I guess while we're waiting to see if they want to come and join us, we might just quickly run through everybody now. Get it out of the way. So runners today, obviously, what the hell's happened in huffpuff1337. Mr. Leet Speak. Trackers today. We have Neferian, I hope I got your name right. Rafa and Sadie Sweet doing the notes in the background. Race Mona is me. Restreamer is Hell Knight. And also joining me on commentary is Elagatua, who I'm still a huge fan of for coming up with these settings, because I'm really enjoying this tournament, I have to say. So thank you very much to everybody for helping us out behind the scenes today.
Yeah, and thank you for co-commentating with me yet again. Really doing the yeoman's work. I don't know how you say that. I don't know. I won't pretend to be smart, but
I think that's
heavy
how it's
burden.
pronounced. Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. And if we're correct, I think the Mr. Martin and Flu race we were talking about is possibly the one we're doing next. So yeah, we might be around for that again, or you might end up be weekly. But either way, we'll be back for that. I don't know if that is confirmed as the actual next race. Perhaps Hell Knight can.
Yes,
it will be.
I think so. So I hope so. Otherwise, it's fake news.
Yeah. So fingers crossed that should be the next one, which is going to be seriously hype, as we were talking about. Doesn't look like What the Hells is going to be joining us. I'm not sure about Huffpuff. We will find out.
Yeah, I'll ask again. I suspect not. I think it's probably okay just to wrap this one up.
I think so as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, thanks everybody for tuning in, and hopefully to see you all later on today for Martin versus Fluflush. Should be excited for that one. If you're not, check your pulse. So.